Before we begin the program, we have honored guests tonight, 6 of them, very distinguished individuals who like to bring special greetings. Our first guest to bring greetings is the Honorable Mayor Francis Slay, City of St. Louis. Mayor Slay.
Well, thank you and good evening. I'm indeed proud to join all of you this evening in celebrating and supporting the #1 urban league in the United States of America. We are so fortunate to have such a strong organization helping people right here in St. Louis, and the credit goes to a strong board, outstanding leadership at the top, and all of your support. So give yourselves a big round of applause for all you do. I want to congratulate Mike McMillan on his first 6 months and on his first annual dinner. He is certainly, and I've known Mike and worked with him a long time, he's certainly a capable and a passionate leader that I know will continue the legacy of this outstanding organization through advocacy, coalition building, and services to give people in need a hand up. And Mike, you know the city will always be there to continue our efforts to partner with this organization to help our community. And finally, I want to extend a very, very warm St. Louis welcome to our honored guest here today, Ambassador Young. It's welcome to the city of St. Louis. Ambassador Andrew Young, as a minister, an educator, a civil rights leader, the former mayor of Atlanta, a U.S. congressman, a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and a friend and colleague of Dr. King, you have opened many doors for so many people throughout your career and throughout your life. And I want you to know, on behalf of the people of St. Louis, that the doors of St. Louis will always be open to you. And on that, I want to present to you a key to the city of St. Louis to remember us and to know you're always welcome in our city. It's good to have you back.
Our next guest to bring greetings is the Honorable Charlie Dooley, St. Louis County Executive.
Let me say good evening to all of you. I'm extremely happy to be here. And to all of you, this is really an outstanding, look at this room. I don't think we can get not one other person in this room. Give yourselves a great big hand. This is good stuff. One of the things that is so fabulous about this gathering, there's some of everybody in this room that represent the St. Louis metropolitan region. This is simply outstanding. You will find this no place in the United States, Michael. You have done well, my friend. This is simply outstanding. And let me say one other thing. And as Mayor indicated earlier, this is really the top-notch Urban League of the United States. 5-star, second to none. And to my good friend Jim Bruford, you have left a legacy that is second to none, and I'm quite sure is in capable hands with Mike McMillan at the rim. Mike, this is really an outstanding job. So on behalf of St. Louis County, I am always glad to be here, and I was told by my good friend to behave myself. I'm going to behave myself this evening. I'm going to try to be well, but I am really excited about this, what the Urban League does for the greater metropolitan region, for all our constituencies. They really do things in the right way and the right spirit, and I congratulate them. Please continue to do the great work that you do, because it's needed, and it's needed, and it's needed now. Thank you.
Our last distinguished guest to bring greetings is the Honorable Louis Reed, President of St. Louis City Board of Aldermen.
Good evening. Are everybody doing well today?
Great, sir.
Tell you, I am so honored to be here, and I know a couple of the aldermen are working, okay, perfect, joining me up here. When you think about the work that the Urban League does, you can't help but to be humbled. You can't help but to be honored to be here tonight. If you really want to put it in perspective, put yourself in the house, on the table, being the mother and father, trying to figure out where you're going to get your next meal to feed your kids, or what school you're going to send them to, or if you can afford the repairs on your house. That's what the Urban League does. That's why we are so honored to be here tonight. That's why we come here year after year. That's why I'm honored to be here tonight, and also Alderwoman Tyus is honored to be here tonight to present you, Mike McMillan, with this resolution on behalf of the Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Louis. We cannot thank you enough and your organization enough for the work that you guys do to help families all across the City of St. Louis, across the region. 50,000 families and people all across the region you guys helped this year, so let's give them a round of applause for that. And to our distinguished guests, we can call you congressman, we can call you mayor, we can call you trailblazer, ambassador, we can call you all of those things. I'm honored to be able to call you friend, whether I know you or not, because I know what you've done to enrich the lives of kids all across this nation. My 4 children have a better world to live in today because of your work. So thank you.
As we continue the business part of the program, to present the first annual report to the community, I give you Mr. Michael P. McMillan, President and CEO, Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Michael.
Thank you, Deborah. Unlike Mark, I did not give up long speeches for Lent, but I will try to keep this as brief as possible. It is truly a privilege and a pleasure and an honor to stand before you tonight as President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank our board chair, Deborah Denham, our incoming chair, Mr. Miles, and all of the board for their hard work, dedication, vision, and all of the different elements that they bring to this organization. I would like to thank all of the staff and all of the members of the Urban League movement. And I would also like to thank all of you for making this a sellout, again, here for the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis tonight. So thank you. We wish to thank our sponsors, Ameren, Anheuser-Busch, Worldwide Technology, Centene Corporation, Home State Health, and all of the sponsors of the dinner tonight. In addition, I would like to recognize our honorary annual committee dinner chair, Tom Voss, who moved and canceled his entire vacation to be here with us tonight. Thank you, Tom. And to thank his lovely wife, Mrs. Voss, for being so kind to put up with us and allowing him to do that. Thank you. I would also like to thank our annual dinner committee chair, Emily Pitts, for your hard work and vision for this evening. Our development committee chair, Keith Williamson, who works very hard for the Urban League, and the members of the annual dinner committee for organizing such a wonderful event. I would also like to especially thank one person in this entire room who has been working for my benefit for the past 42 years, my mother, Rita McMillan. And I'd like to ask all of my family to please stand at both tables this evening and thank them for all of the work that they do to help me, to help others. Thank you, thank you. And of course, tonight, we are truly blessed to have in our presence a living icon. There is no one in the entire world that has the resume of Ambassador Andrew Young. There is no one that worked with Dr. King for the civil rights that we all enjoy, that helped write the Voting Rights Act, helped write all of the legislation that we have all come to live to enjoy here in America, and then serve as an international statesman, congressman, mayor, co-chair of the Atlanta Olympics, and so many other efforts that he does on a humanitarian basis all over the world. Thank you, Ambassador Young. And I want to especially thank Zernona Clayton and Maria Newby for working very hard to make sure that the ambassador was with us tonight. Zernona, as you know, is the founder, president, and CEO of the Trumpet Awards Foundation. And there's no one in this country that has done more to promote African-American pride and privilege on an international scale by highlighting the accomplishments of African Americans throughout the United States and globally. Thank you, Zernona. Our mission here at the Urban League continues to be to empower African Americans and others throughout the region in securing economic self-reliance, social equality, and civil rights. The Urban League will be the catalyst for this change through advocacy, coalition building, program services, and by promoting communication and understanding among different races and cultures as we have for the past 96 years. Last year, the Urban League served nearly 80,000 people with 25 programs in 10 locations with almost 200 staff. And I am proud to report that we are still the #1 urban league in the entire United States of America, thanks to you. The strength of the Urban League lies in our partners. We would like to thank our longtime partners since 1922, the United Way of Greater St. Louis, which renewed our funding of over $1.2 million in annual support. And I would like to especially congratulate my friend Orvin Kimbrough on the excellent job that he has been doing in his first year as president. Let us give Orvin and the United Way a round of applause. For the past 13 years, the Urban League has worked with the YWCA and its excellent leader, Adrian Bracey, to administer a $5 million Head Start program here in the city of St. Louis, serving 677 children. And we are very grateful for that partnership. Thank you, Adrian, for all that you do. The Urban League has also partnered with the St. Louis County WIA Consortium and the Missouri Career Center to provide the $1.5 million Workforce Investment Act, Youth Career Counseling and Employment Services Grant. The League's WIA program continues to be one of the area's best, maintaining a 93% graduation rate for its students. I would like to thank Darrell Cothran, Andrea Jackson Jennings, and our county executive, Charlie Dooley, for your WIA partnership. Thank you very much. 2013 was a phenomenal year as we celebrated the retirement of James H. Buford, an iconic figure in the Urban League movement who served this affiliate for 28 years. Mr. Buford, please stand and be recognized again as we thank you. We added contributions to our basic needs programs, economic empowerment and development program portfolios totaling over $3.9 million. The Urban League also received over $1.9 million in grants from the state of Illinois for weatherization, job training, housing, counseling, and healthy lifestyle programs. The Urban League received funding to weatherize 100 East St. Louis homes over the next 2 years. And Mayor, we will open another office in East St. Louis in time. We will come back to East St. Louis. We received 2 Urban Weatherization Initiative training grants from the state of Illinois to provide unemployed and underemployed St. Clair County residents with the opportunity to receive job readiness, OSHA, and lead training, BPI, and other certifications that led to employment in the weatherization field. Quality health care is also a critical and basic need that is often not readily available in minority and disadvantaged populations. To meet the increasing need, the Urban League has acquired 2 health care grants totaling over $500,000 from the Missouri Foundation for Health and the St. Louis Area Agency on Aging to expand our healthcare services. As a result, the League will increase its health screenings and case management offerings for our clients throughout the St. Louis City and St. Louis County areas. And thanks to a new partnership with St. Louis Area Agency on Aging, the Urban League now provides educational workshops and enrollment services for individuals seeking the Affordable Care Act medical insurance. The Urban League witnessed an exceptional year for fundraising in 2013 with the creation of two new campaigns, the James H. Buford Second Century Fund and the Whitney M. Young Society. The James H. Buford Legacy Century Fund ensures the successful transition of the Urban League into its next 100 years of existence. Chaired by Andrew Taylor, President and CEO of Enterprise Holdings, and David Farr, President of Emerson, the Second Century Fund raised more than $1.6 million to preserve the mission of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. As a student at St. Louis University getting my degree in African American Studies, I was overwhelmed with the life of Whitney Young, who is an iconic figure in the Urban League movement. So much so that I felt that there was a need to honor his legacy while we continue to work to improve this region. So we created the Whitney M. Young Society that you heard about earlier tonight. And I know many of you are very desirous of bidding on the $10,000, $5,000, and $2,500 prizes that the Brocs have put up tonight. My own family is going to be forced to at least get one of them tonight. So, as they say, there is no free lunch or dinner. But because of their leadership and because of Todd Schnook and all of the people that are here tonight that have already joined, we have over 100 members in a 5-month period that have raised almost $100,000 for the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis for our programs. And especially the Brocs are really due a thank you from all of us because they cut their trip in Florida to spring training short and brought this good weather back to be with us tonight. So we thank you, Lou and Jackie, for all that you did, all that you continue to do. We have also been on a membership drive over the past 7 months, and we have increased our membership from 37 to 537 by hard work and dedication from our staff under the leadership of our committee chair, Johnny Furr. And I would like to ask all of the members of the Urban League that are in the room tonight and the members of the Whitney Young Society to please stand so that we can give you a round of applause and thank you for being a part of the Urban League movement. In addition to the Urban League membership, I would like to thank our auxiliaries who are the foot soldiers of the Urban League movement. From the New Lights to the Federation of Block Units, the Urban League has an auxiliary for each stage of life development. The New Lights, under the direction of Lauren Brown, are for teens aged 14 to 18. The Urban League Young Professionals, under the leadership of Kenya Leonard, are for young civic-minded adults aged 21 to 40. The Urban League Guild and their president, Christina Hazley, are for community service-oriented adults, and the Federation of Block Units, under the direction of their president, Ron Smith, is the nation's oldest neighborhood self-help organization in the country. If you are not a member of the Urban League yet, I strongly encourage and ask that you join us tonight personally and professionally in this movement for social justice and change. We need you to get involved today. And we need everyone's help to fulfill the mission of this organization. My own journey with the Urban League began 32 years ago when my late uncle, Colonel Gates, told me at 10 years old that I should join the Urban League when I became 16, that I should buy my own membership with my own money so that I would appreciate it more. And on my 16th birthday, I had a youth membership to the Urban League. And he told me at that time when I was 10, he said, Mike, this is the organization that people go to for help when they are in need for self-sufficiency and need additional resources. And he was absolutely right, because I was working 3 jobs, going to college, had 2 scholarships, but did not have enough money to pay everything. But it was the Urban League that stepped in and made the difference. I'd like to ask his daughter, Lisa Gates, and his granddaughter, Taylor Norwood, to please stand and thank you for the legacy that your late father has given me and this Urban League affiliate. As we celebrate the League's 96th birthday, we are already plotting a path towards its centennial anniversary. Longevity has afforded us the opportunity to establish an unparalleled legacy of community involvement, investment, and positive change in the region. And yet the challenges of our times are demanding still more from us as an institution, a regional leader and champion of social justice and economic opportunity for the African American community. To help us meet the demands of the 21st century, we have developed a strategic plan to clarify our vision for change and reaffirm our core values and operating principles. We are proud to have partnered with Vector Communications to put this vision together that encompasses all of the various aspects of the Urban League. I would like to ask Rebecca Bennett, Jessica Perkins, and Lorna Godwin to please stand and be acknowledged, as they have worked with us to put this comprehensive plan together for the Urban League. The Urban League's roadmap to opportunity begins in partnership with all of you in this room tonight. We will spend the next 4 years continuing as a national model for urban revitalization and community empowerment. It is our vision that the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis will serve 100,000 individuals by the time that we turn 100. Our social service programs will help our clients train for work, get jobs, and build careers that provide living wages and advance upward mobility. Provide our clients access to quality education for themselves and their children from preschool to college. Help our clients build wealth through financial literacy as bank account holders, home buyers, and business owners. Increase healthcare accessibility for our clients that improve their well-being and the public's health, and help our clients to live in safe, vibrant, and affordable neighborhoods. We also plan to have more focus on our youth and our senior programs, and significantly increase our presence in Illinois, in East St. Louis and St. Clair County through more collaborations. But to accomplish this grand vision, we're developing an ambitious community empowerment agenda that invites everyone in our region to support increased equality, opportunity, and shared prosperity. I encourage each and every one of you to get involved in sharing this mission with us. George Washington Carver, a renowned African-American scientist, once said, "When there is no vision, there is no hope." And tonight I have presented to you the goals and ideals of the Urban League's vision. This year, the city of St. Louis turns 250 years old. My birthday wish for St. Louis is for us to have an accessible world-class healthcare system, groundbreaking diversity at the highest levels of jobs, management, board of directors, and contracts in our business and government conclaves, and a comprehensive educational system that cares for the needs of our children from birth through college graduation. As we embark upon these lofty goals, I encourage each of you to get involved today. For it was a wise man named Hillel the Elder who once said, "If not us, who? And if not now, when?" Now is the time to make the St. Louis region what we were meant to be. Now is the time to live up to our full potential and be a national model for inclusion and diversity where everyone has a seat at the table of economic opportunity. So join the Urban League movement, get involved, help make a difference, and let us take the next 4 years to continue to make this the greatest urban league in the entire country. God bless you, and thank you all for your tremendous support of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. We are extremely pleased with your leadership over the past 7 months that you have provided us, and we look forward to hearing the exciting plans you have as we head toward our 100th anniversary of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis. Thank you. It is my pleasure now to present to you Mr. Thomas R. Voss, Chairman of the Board, President, and Chief Executive Officer, Ameren Corporation, for a special presentation.
Thanks, Deborah. Ameren is a company made up of many large assets: power plants, transmission towers, distribution lines, substations, gas pipelines, but without a doubt, our most valuable asset is our people. Like most companies, we are trying to do the best job we can with the assets we have. We have discovered that investing in our diversity efforts makes Ameren better. We are building a culture where we find strength in our differences, where new ideas that challenge the status quo are encouraged and embraced, and a culture where we take accountability to change rather than being a victim of circumstance. It hasn't always been like this. It is something we are learning and growing into. It wasn't long ago that when Ameren executives talked about not having enough minorities in our entry-level jobs, that we blamed our human resources for not hiring them for us. Then we listened to what we were saying, and we got honest with ourselves. We were being victims, and so we decided to take accountability, to get it fixed, and work with our human resources to solve the problem. Just as this kind of thinking has evolved in workplaces like Ameren, we're all very aware of the evolution of our thoughts and actions in society. I am blessed to have been raised in a working-class family in South St. Louis with parents that taught me to respect people as individuals. My family owned a neighborhood grocery store, and my parents knew it was important to treat people well and provide everyone with good service. It was good business, but more importantly, it was the right thing to do. When I became a senior leader at Ameren, I decided there wasn't anything I could do about the past, but I could certainly influence how things would happen in the future. As a major purchaser of materials and services, Ameren plays a significant role in the growth and development of diverse suppliers. We have developed an aggressive program to make sure that qualified, diverse suppliers are encouraged and given the opportunity to do business with us. We host an annual Supplier Diversity Symposium where we open our doors to the diverse business community each year to raise awareness of our procurement projects. We are funding scholarships to allow diverse suppliers to attend the Minority Executive Program at the Tuck School of Business on the Dartmouth College campus. As a result of our supplier diversity efforts, I'm proud to say that Ameren's annual spend with minority-owned businesses has increased by 117% since 2008. Thank you. Thank you. Last year, we spent $226 million in business with minority-owned businesses. Within our own workforce, our diversity programs have developed over the years. We didn't really push our employees into doing things they didn't want to do. We created opportunities for diversity training and discussion at all levels, and it became an example of employees pushing their management to get on board with this. I am pleased with how well our employees have embraced this concept of diversity all the way down through the organization, so now we just have to feed it. And each year, we are incrementally continuing our journey. Last fall, we hosted our first company-wide diversity festival where more than 5,000 employees and their families attended it. Since we began focusing on diversity at Ameren, we've been recognized for the success of our efforts. Ameren's Diversity Council ranked in the top 25 nationally for several years in a row, and we were ranked a top 5 utility company by Diversity Inc. magazine. And GI Jobs ranked Ameren 22nd of the top 100 military-friendly companies. All these efforts make Ameren better and stronger, and like my parents recognized years ago in our grocery store, the basic concept of diversity is just good business, but more importantly, it's the right thing to do. So today I challenge everyone here with this. Don't wait until you feel like you're in a position of influence before you take action to make changes that need to be made. You can be a champion for change wherever you are in life and whenever you see that people aren't treated with the respect that everyone deserves. Don't underestimate the influence you have. Take action. It's the right thing to do. And now I would like to present a check from Ameren to the Urban League for $95,000.
is my pleasure to present to you the founder, president, and CEO of the Trumpet Awards Foundation and civil rights advocate, Ms. Sonona Clayton.
Michael, I want you to know that I have a bank account at Bank of America, and I helped to generate that check. Before I introduce our speaker, I want to add another layer of pride to you wonderful people here in this area. As you know, we honor people all across the country with their accomplishments. We have a project called the International Civil Rights Walk of Fame, where we take the shoes of real people who made a real difference in our world. We made a footprint of those shoes, made it, melded in concrete, bordered it in bronze, and created a sidewalk, which is a permanent tribute. The winds will come and blow away the debris. The rains will come and wash away the dirt. But the names of these people and their footprints will be there in Atlanta forever. And one of the persons who now is in that Walk of Fame is your own Miss Frankie Freeman. Our Trumpet Awards program is aired nationally, but is distributed internationally to 185 countries around the world. So everybody we honor is seen all over the world. Last year's honoree included Mr. Michael McMillan. And we certainly know that it goes to 185 countries because we heard from 185 representatives of those countries who knew Michael McMillan. Now, the man I'm going to introduce is having a birthday tomorrow. And I thought I knew how old he was. And it's supposed to be 82. But Andrew Young was sitting here tonight, patting his feet, tapping his fingers, and singing all of the words to straighten up and fly right. So I know he's older than 82. Let's give him an applause for 82. Now, I have an enviable blessing because I've had the great honor of working with this man, so I've known him a long, long time. And what you see is what you get in this man. He's revered all over the world. There's a passage in the Bible that relates what happened to the disciples who were at sea. And the storm came. The winds were blowing fiercely, and the disciples were so afraid. They went down, I'm told in the Bible, and because of their fear, they called and asked Jesus, "What must we do?" Jesus came, and just with his countenance, calmed the waters, ceased the billowing of the waves, and quieted the wind. And after this miraculous occurrence, they ask, "What kind of man is this?" I'm going to pose that question to you tonight. You have in your books, in your programs, and you've read so much of his biographical sketch. I'm going to give you some facts that will not appear on your program. And I'm going to ask, what kind of man is this who has strength, courage, fortitude, and consistency on his commitment and purpose? Dr. Martin Luther King trusted Andrew Young implicitly and said he's the best negotiator ever. And when there was turbulence in the land, he would send Andrew Young to the scene and try to get him to negotiate a change of attitude. And his remark all the time was, if Andrew Young comes back and does not give us a positive report, we got to march. Because Andrew Young will sit at the table of reasoning all the time and change people's attitudes. What kind of man is this who has this kind of influence? Just in recent times, you probably read in Atlanta, we had a very delicate issue. We were trying to build a new stadium. We had two churches, very strong, old, seriously committed churches. And they were in the way of the path of progress. And our mayor worked hard and long, and all the people involved in this needed these churches to come to a decision to move so that we could build this magnificent statue and edifice. Our mayor, who has influence, realized he was having a very difficult and impossible task. And he had a press conference. He said, I am going to call on Andrew Young to help me. And guess what? The problem is solved. Andrew Young did it again. Andrew Young must have 496 million children and only gave father to 4. But Andrew Young adopts every child he meets in this country and around the world who is in need. What kind of man is this who, just as his son said, has no regard for personal wealth? That's what his son said. Andrew Young doesn't appreciate money for himself because he gives it away. But I think he probably got that from Martin Luther King Jr. because he worked with him every day. And you remember when Martin Luther King Jr. received the Nobel Prize and got not only that great Nobel peace, but a check accompanied it, and he gave it all away. What kind of man is that who can follow those examples? What kind of man is this whose wife said, I want some beautiful diamonds? He goes to Africa all the time, so she figured it would be an easy request. Well, this man saved up his money and reported to his wife, I'm ready to buy those beautiful diamond earrings you want. And she was so excited. She was waiting for him to come back and bring these diamonds. And then he read in the paper that Morris Brown University in Atlanta was going to go bankrupt and fail. And he said, honey, I've given that money to Morris Brown. I think she now says, forget education. Not really. What kind of man is this who unceasingly contributes to causes all of the time? Michael, you have brought to this great city and these wonderful people the best example of what love, religion, commitment are all about. You have honored me by asking me to come and introduce your speaker tonight. And I'm delighted to say the kind of man of which I speak is my friend, Andrew Young.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm going to try to be brief. I made my long speech at Webster University at lunch, and I just want to tell you a few stories. The first one, I want to get it straight about those diamonds. I went to South Africa first, and everything they saw that I saw that I could afford, you couldn't see it. And I think I had $30,000. And I was in the diamond mines owned by a friend of mine, and they were offering them me at a discount. But the geologists made the mistake of saying, you know, these man-made diamonds are so good now. He said, I can't tell them unless I put them under an electron microscope. I can't tell them with simple eyepiece. I said, well, why am I going to spend money? So on the way back through New York, I went to a little place, and I found some, it was 8.5 carats, yellow diamond hanging earrings. And I brought them home. And my wife loved them. When we went to South Africa, Oprah had a pair that looked just like it. And it was only then that I admitted to her that I had given the money to Morris Brown. And I said, see, your diamonds look just like Oprah's. I said, well, baby, I didn't pay but $185 for yours. You know, what's money for if it's not for educating children? And I think that's what I want to tell you. Just a few stories about what your work does and what we have to continue doing. This is a great country. No question about it. But we haven't done everything right. And even when we're trying to do right, we sometimes mess up. And one of those times was when we started the welfare system. And one of the things we didn't want the mothers to be with the grandmothers. And so you had to get out of your grandmother's house to get aid for your children. We didn't want a man in the house who didn't have a job. It's unintended consequences. We almost wrecked this nation trying to do good. Because when you deprive a family of a grandmother, and when you deprive a woman of a man, you break up the family. Our bad government policies probably did more damage to the Negro family, that's what I'd like to call it, than happened in slavery or segregation. We pulled together back then, and we knew that there was an attempt to destroy everything that we stood for. And we pulled together and we found a way to overcome. We sort of got sucked into the charity system. And it's necessary and important, but we can't depend on it. We have to find a way to make this country work for everybody equally. Now, there but for the grace of God go I. My daddy was a dentist, and my mother was a school teacher, and I knew both my grandmother on one side and my grandfather on the other side, and I had aunts and uncles who didn't have children. So I had the best that anybody could offer in life. I mean, I don't know how I got off so lucky. I grew up in the middle of downtown New Orleans with an Irish grocery store on one corner, an Italian bar on another corner. A Chevrolet dealership was around the third corner, and the Nazi Party headquarters was on the fourth corner. And I'm right in the middle. I had to be a negotiator. But my daddy always told me, he said, you don't ever get mad. White supremacy is a sickness. And you don't get mad with sick people. And he took me to see Jesse Owens in the 1936 Olympics on television, on Movietone News. And he said, now see, Jesse broke the 100-meter record. And rather than give him his Olympic medal, Hitler got up and stormed out of the stadium. And he said, but what did Jesse do? He just went on and broke 3 more medals, 3 more records, and won 4 gold medals. He said, don't ever get upset. Don't ever lose your temper in a fight. Don't get mad, get smart. The lady that was singing, they used to have a song called Be Cool, Fool. Don't let it get you. And that's sort of the way I was raised, and with all of the advantages that I had. I mean, my parents started saving money for my graduate school education when I was born. But as a junior in college, I was about to drop out. My daddy wanted me to be a dentist and a baseball player. And in the city, we didn't have any place to play baseball. And so I don't know what it was, but I wasn't doing anything in school. And then I worked as a lifeguard at a swimming pool in our neighborhood. And one day a guy came in and fell in the deep end, and when the other lifeguard and I pulled him out, he said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "No, where from?" He said, "We were in Belina C. Jones School in Miss Sarah Vogtland's class." I said, "Oh, yeah, I remember." He said, "We both got put out." We were playing with an ice pick in the back of the room. Mumbly peg, something like that. It was big class, segregated schools. Nobody really cared, we thought. Only difference was that when he asked me what I was doing, I said, "I don't know. I think I might join the military," but they rejected me because my arm wouldn't turn over. I broke my arm, and the segregated hospital didn't set it right. So I didn't know what I was just wasted. And he gave me one of those, you know, Richard Pryor's The Junkie Talking to the Drunk. He gave me one of those lectures. And he said, "You know one thing?" He said, "I've been in every prison in the state of Louisiana." He said, "I didn't get back to school because I couldn't bring my mama back. My mama was making $1 a day plus car fare, and we had 6 children in the family. she couldn't take a day off to see about me. And so he'd been in reform schools in every part of the prison system up to Angolan Penitentiary. And he didn't have to tell me, but he said, I'm probably just as smart as you. But he was smarter than me. He was tougher than me. He had survived the worst that our society has to offer, because there ain't no prisons any worse than the prisons in Louisiana. And there's no harder life. And he said, look, you better get yourself together, and you better amount to something and make this world better for people like me. He said, you can't afford to F up. And it kind of brought me to my senses. And I've never passed by on the other side when I see some kids in difficulty. And so in addition to all that you're doing, and everything that you're doing institutionally is necessary and absolutely essential to the survival of this society and the perpetuation of Judeo-Christian Western civilization as we know it. But we never know where the voice of God comes from. I met a little girl, I was supposed to bring with us the secretary of our YMCA, Diane Baker King, and I work with the Y, and I met a little girl about 5 years ago who was very bright, and she said, you know, she wanted to go to college. And I said, good, we'll help you go to college and any way you want to go. And then after making the commitment, I asked Ms. King, who is this child? He said, she's a very bright girl. He said, the problem is she was born when her mother was 12 years old. And she has 5 little sisters and a brother under her. But she said, with a little help, I think she's gonna make it. Well, we don't try to tell children what they ought to do. And somehow she got the idea that she wanted to go to Georgetown. I said, that's over $50,000 a year. But, you know, we played it on out. We can't tell them they can't do it. Well, May the 13th, she graduates with honors from Georgetown. And they gave her $57,000 a year because she's a math and science major. And she decided that she was going to minor in finance because she wanted to be a teacher. But in case any opportunities came up, she wanted to be able to make it in today's world of finance and understand money. In the meantime, I got involved with the other 6. And they are all doing well with problems, but still doing well. They're all smart. The little boy was kind of sorry, and I said, boy, what's up? He said, look, I'm making A's. I know what it is to be smart. He said, everybody in our family is smart. And you know, the mother, when they found out that her daughter was at Georgetown on scholarship, she was a maid at one of the hospitals. And they said, well, you must be smart too, to have children like this. And so they arranged for her to go to Georgia Perimeter College and get her degree after making her GED. And she's making A's. And with all the help I had, I never made A's. And so I've been repenting of it ever since. But we run into kids like this, and you have to work with them one at a time, and it doesn't take a lot. I can still remember the teachers that congratulated me, and because there wasn't that many. I was mostly getting fussed at. But the one thing I can do is write, because a fourth grade teacher put her arms on my shoulder and said, "Boy, you sure form your letters well." And I've been trying to write like that teacher. She said, "You write just like the penmanship book." I'm saying that it starts with individuals. We can't have a good school system, the superintendent, unless we have good teachers. And one of the things I found out when I used to go to talk to the teachers about my children and my adopted children, they never talked to me about the children. They always talked to me about their problems. Teachers need love. Teachers need attention. Teachers need to be appreciated. And we have a mechanism in this society called public education, which, if we trust it, can put together a lot of the pieces that are broken. I just read the introduction to Howard Buffett's book by his father, Warren Buffett, and he says that all of his children, he said he couldn't get them through college, but they didn't need that, they had money. He said maybe between his 3 children, they have enough for 1 degree. But they're all very creative and very, and he said the reason he thinks is because every Buffett since his great-grandfather has gone to the same public schools in Omaha, Nebraska. And that public school education is one of those things that has kept this country together, and we cannot let people destroy it. Now, I'm closing this out now because you're doing almost everything right. There's one group that's coming to join you soon called Operation Hope. And it's a guy that I started working with when he was a kind of a, well, he was a ex-Soul Train dancer who, when his community was burned down in the Rodney King riots, decided nobody else was going to build the community back. And so he had enough chutzpah to go around and talk to people about getting our community back together. And he went to the bankers and he went to the developers and he organized something called Operation Hope. Now it's nationwide, and we've just started a program. I'm one of their international advisors. We've just started a program of financial literacy that I think we're bringing to the St. Louis schools this year. And the idea is to teach kids about money.